Hello, students. Today we're going to talk about the devil. The devil's name is Gordon Ramsay. A devil is defined as a creature, a being, that does nothing but harm in the world. Now you might look at him, Gordon Ramsay, and say to yourself, well, he seems like a nice guy. He's able to crack some jokes. His family look healthy and happy. They're always seen joking around, and there's always happy music. But look a little bit deeper. What's really going on? When you have a lot of money, you can pay people to film you in whatever light that you want. You can put cameras in the right places, and you can insert music and make your life seem like one giant trip to Disneyland. He's achieved this, but it doesn't make him a good person. All of the money that he has made is on the backs of innocent animals who have been murdered because of him, who never wanted to die, who died begging for their lives. Now, people don't think of chickens, pigs, cows, and lambs that often because we've been so indoctrinated in our society to think of them as objects. But they're not objects, and they should not be eaten. Science has proven to us that we don't need to eat animals to survive. And given that fact, and given the fact that he is able to work in the kitchen, there's no excuse for him to keep paying for the murder of these animals. Why would he do it? I ask myself that. Why would he keep doing it? Well, there are a few reasons. One is that maybe he's not such a good chef after all. Maybe he really doesn't know how to cook delicious vegetables and fruits and make them into these amazing meals. Maybe he's not such a good chef after all. Or he's a kind of psychopath who really cannot see into the eyes of an animal and see them as sentient beings. Maybe he truly is disconnected. Most people watching here know that if they look at a dog, they can tell whether the dog's happy or not. They know that dogs and cats and all animals are able to feel pain. If you try to come close to them, they can be afraid. If you try to take them away from their families, they don't want that. Animals feel love, and they feel fear, and they feel joy, and they don't want to die, and they have a right to their lives. So why is it that somebody like this thinks it's okay to make shows like this?
Right, last time I had the most amazing chicken wings was with the incredible Sean Evans. And thankfully, 75 million of you tuned in to watch.
75 million people on this planet watched him take the body of an innocent animal, a chicken, a bird, who just wanted to live his or her life. And he chopped up this dead body after paying somebody to create this chicken in the first place, because that's what happens in the industry. There are 3 times more chickens on this planet than there are humans. Where are they all? They're kept in facilities, in giant jails, in giant Holocaust-like camps. Think about the Holocaust. Think about what the sentient beings in that Holocaust suffered through. Absolute hell. But the Holocaust never ended for the animals because of people like him. What's different between somebody like Hitler and somebody like Gordon Ramsay? What is the difference? Now you're going to say that Hitler was a terrible man because he asked people to do these terrible things. He demanded it. He commanded it. And that they were humans. But what is the difference between humans and chickens? What is the real difference? Is it because they're not as smart as us? Does that mean that all humans that are not smart should be murdered, put on plates, fried up, turned into dinner? What is it? Name the trait that an animal has that makes it okay for people like him to consistently encourage others to hurt them. I think it's not okay. We have to create a world where if we were born in the body of any other being on this planet, that we would feel safe and okay. Do you understand? It's just by luck that we are born into these bodies, and it's not fair for us to abuse the other animals on this planet just because of our taste pleasure. If he likes the way an animal tastes, that's just one sensory pleasure. Does he really think it's okay for his sensory pleasures to take precedent over an animal's life? What next? What is going to happen when Gordon Ramsay likes to use another sense of his, like say his hearing? What happens when he likes to hear the animal scream in agony? Then will he tell all of his fans, that's okay. You can go out there and hurt all the animals you want because, hey, Gordon Ramsay likes the way it sounds when they scream in agony. What about if Gordon Ramsay uses his sight and he says he likes to see the animals being sliced to death, murdered, and that becomes his show, the joy of watching animals being murdered? What if that happens? Then will these millions and millions of people also continue to follow along? What is the difference? Taste pleasure in your mouth, eye pleasure, ear pleasure. All these areas are so close. What makes Gordon Ramsay think that it's okay that just because of his taste pleasure, he can tell others to keep hurting animals, putting them in these incredible cycles of violence? Now, most people don't realize what goes on. You know, myself, I tried to talk to Gordon Ramsay. Maybe I thought, maybe he really doesn't understand the difference between animals to eat and foods that we eat. I had created a video for him.
We're going to be reviewing the work of Gordon Ramsay, who has 15 million followers here on TikTok. And I'm going to speak to you directly, Gordon. So Gordon, one of the problems that I noticed that you have is you don't seem to understand the difference between food and animals. So food is something that you get out of the ground or you take it from a tree. It is something that doesn't have feelings, and it's something that's very healthy for us to eat. Now, animals are alive. They are sentient beings like us, like chickens and cows, sheep, pigs. You know, these things are not actually foods. So I think you really need a little lesson in sort of remembering about that. Now, surely you learned the animal names when you were younger. So just go back and review that. And from now on, it would be really great if you started to cook actual food and just let the animals live. All right? Hello, students.
So that is a video of me asking Gordon to please stop hurting animals. He didn't listen, so I created a song where I sang and asked him to please stop hurting animals. His response was to eat an animal in front of me. Does that sound like the response of somebody who's in their 50s, a mature person? Or do you think that he could have responded in any other way? Could he have said, you know, good point, I'll try to cut down on the animals that I eat, or good point, I should try to make more vegan recipes? That's not what he did.
Eating animals is wrong, Gordon Ramsay. Hurting animals is wrong, Gordon Ramsay. Share this song, and if you call me a donut, that's fine.
So here you see, this is the face of somebody who likes to pay for the rape, the torture, and the murder of animals. Raped because animals in the industry are masturbated, forcefully impregnated. Their babies are taken away. There's kidnapping in the industry. Everything that's horrible. Think back to World War II and what happened there. Was there rape going on? Yes. Was there confinement going on? Yes. Was there torture going on? Yes. This man thinks it's okay for that to continue to sentient beings, innocent animals, just born into this world who just want to live their lives. They don't want money. They don't want fame. They don't want objects. The only thing that animals have is their lives. And he takes that away from them over and over again. And he encourages millions upon millions of fans to continue the animal holocaust. Here are 21 things that the egg industry doesn't want you to see. It takes approximately 34 hours for a hen to produce an egg. So to keep up with the demand, more than 300 million hens are used by the US egg industry every year. Now remember, we're only looking at the US industry. I'll try to move this over if I can. Their lives are 2 years of misery, starting right when they are born. You know, when a new baby is born, how we try to give them love and the warmth of their mother, and we sing to them, and there's so much bonding going on. Imagine being born in a world where your mother is nowhere near you. Imagine being born in a dark hell, Auschwitz. That's where these animals are born, in a concentration camp. Chicks are born in large incubators such as these. Look at these little innocent animals. Look at these little babies. If you saw one in real life, would it ever occur to you to just take it, put it towards your mouth, take a bite out of him or her? Never. We're not born wanting to hurt animals. We are all born vegan. We can all return. They will never see their mothers. Shortly after birth, the males and females are separated. Imagine that this was you. Imagine you're just an innocent newborn and you're on a conveyor belt and you don't know where your mom is and it's cold and you're like, what's going on? And some human picks you up and checks to see if you have a penis or not. If you are male, they throw you in a machine that grinds you up and kills you. This is the cycle of violence that Gordon Ramsay thinks it's okay.
We're going to be reviewing the work
This man,
of Gordon.
This man, this is the face of somebody who thinks it's okay to hurt these innocent animals. Why? Why is he like that? How is he different from Hitler? Name the one way he is different. He doesn't have a mustache. That's the only difference I see. I would even suggest that he is a worse human. Because with Hitler, at least stopped at 6 million or more murders under his care. Horrific. What they did to the Jews was horrific. And what they continue to do now, humans and other leaders in the world, is to continue that abuse to animals, even though they know how much pain they suffer through, even though they know anybody can be vegan, which simply means that you do your best at all times to not hurt animals. He absolutely can never eat another animal in his life, or eggs, or milk. He absolutely could do it, and so could millions and millions of the people who follow him. But instead, he uses the power he has, the media influence, to make the world a worse place. Down this slide here is a blade that cuts the animals. It slices the baby chicks and murders them. In some places, they are put into giant bags where they are just giant plastic bags. And when they're full, they just tie a knot and they let them suffocate to death or die from the weight of their brothers. If you ever came across a little baby chick in real life, it would never occur to you to hurt them. Never. I know it. So why do you pay to follow somebody like Gordon Ramsay? The females head to a life in the egg industry. The males are either tossed into trash bags to suffocate. Or are ground up alive. It's just because of fate that you are born in the body that you're born in. We must design our planet, our world, in such a way that no matter what body a sentient being is born in, that they are safe and never have to go through this. They committed no crimes. Just like the Jewish people in the Holocaust never committed a single crime. These babies are innocent. But we understand that now, and we have stopped treating members of the Jewish population and others. Many gay people were also killed, and homeless people, all kinds of people were killed during World War II. People who did nothing wrong. So why is it that we haven't learned? Why do we continue this? Imagine it was somebody's job to design a machine like this. Somebody got paid to create a murder machine. Pigs are gassed to death. Pigs are put in gas chambers. The Holocaust never ended for the animals. And here's what one of the leaders looks like. Here he is. This is the face of somebody who thinks it's okay to commit these horrible crimes. What is the difference between him and Hitler? Tell me. Again, you're going to say that one is murdering humans and one is murdering animals, but what is the difference? There is no difference. There's no reason for it. Taste pleasure is not a reason. The female chicks have the ends of their big beaks cut off with a hot blade. Gordon Ramsay thinks that this is okay. I don't. How can we do this to baby birds? How can millions of people watch Gordon Ramsay and think it's an uplifting and fun show and keep paying him so much money to promote this? How can we have a society like this? We need people to be vegan, and we need vegan chefs to be prominent in our society, and we need to stop paying people like Gordon Ramsay, and anybody who is near him should try to talk some sense into him and tell him that this must stop. And that his legacy should be that when he found out and he really understood what happened, that he stopped. But we know that he knows. I have told him to watch this important stuff, these documentaries. I've asked him, and he doesn't care. Five to 11 hens are crammed into wire battery cages. Imagine living your life like that, so tightly confined. Your whole life in a prison when you've done nothing wrong. You committed no crime. The cages are often stacked on top of one another. Imagine living your whole life in the darkness, not knowing the sun, never able to open your wings. If you're a bird, that's all the bird wants. Just to be free outside, that's all. They don't want money, they don't want fame, they don't want objects. They just want to live their lives, free from harm. The cages are often stacked one on top of the other, which allows the urine and feces to fall down on the birds in the lower cages. Do you think that in the Nazi prison camps that people were stacked on top of each other and shit on other people's heads and peed on other people's heads? They're so innocent. I know you might not care about chickens, and I never used to either, until I really looked at them. Till I really just looked. And I saw them. Because of the terrible living conditions, chickens often die in their cages. When you think about the images that you saw in World War II of Auschwitz, of the concentration camps, does this look any different to you? Why do humans continue to pay for this? Why does Gordon Ramsay think that it's okay for us to continue to do this to animals? You couldn't write a horror story worse than this if you tried. They're sometimes left to rot in the same space with living birds. Imagine being in a cage so tight and your friends are dead around you. How is this different than a holocaust? After about 2 years, those who have survived are sent to slaughter. At the slaughterhouse, laying hens meet the same bloody end as that of chickens raised for their meat. These are just chickens that are laying eggs. The chickens that are bred for meat don't live that long. They only live about 7 weeks. These are the chickens who lay the eggs. They're a different kind. They're shackled and hung upside down. They take them and they slam their legs into this machine and hang them upside down after a life of confinement. Sometimes they're electrocuted. Their throats are cut. They're often scalded to death if they didn't die before that. They just put them in boiling hot water. Chickens are smart, social, sensitive animals. who deserves a much better life than this. Help chickens everywhere by refusing to eat eggs. And if you think more people need to see where their eggs come from, share this page on Facebook. So I'm asking you, please share this information. And when you grow up, do not be like Gordon Ramsay. We must stop people like this. We will never have peace on earth as long as we have speciesism. Speciesism is the first form of racism. Speciesism is when we teach kids at an early age that that human is better than that human, or that animal is better than that animal. It's all related. We must have compassion for everyone, no matter what your race, no matter what your body size, no matter what your body looks like. Everyone has a right to live here without pain, without being ripped away from their families. Thank you to everybody who has watched. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet. We're going to be learning a lot. We're going to be looking at recipes that have no animals in them. And we're going to be talking about other animal abusers. And we're going to be continuing to compare the abuse of animals to the Holocaust, because the Holocaust never ended for the humans or for the animals here on this earth. You write to me and you tell me how Gordon Ramsay is different from Hitler. I'd be very curious to know. Name the trait that the animals have that makes them unworthy of living in your view. I see no reason for us to not protect them wholeheartedly. We must end the Holocaust. We must shut down the gas chambers and these absolute horrific places, these death camps. We must have a vegan world. We can do it. Don't be like Gordon Ramsay. Be better. And be vegan. Thank you for watching.